Trump supporter targeted and convicted by Biden DOJ. Justice or politics? The case of a MAGA Trump supporter targeted for prosecution and convicted by the Biden DOJ for white-collar crimes. In an era where politics and the justice system seem increasingly intertwined, the case of Antonio Fluker, an outspoken Trump supporter, has ignited a heated national debate. Was Fluker's prosecution a legitimate effort to hold a wealthy businessman accountable for financial wrongdoing, or was it politically motivated, part of a broader pattern of targeting conservative figures under President Joe Biden's Department of Justice? Fluker's supporters claim he was selectively prosecuted by the Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys Don Ison and Assistant U.S. Attorney Ann Ney in the Eastern District of Michigan due to his political affiliations and outspoken support for President Donald Trump. Federal prosecutors argue otherwise, pointing to a clear trail of fraudulent activity. As the dust settles on his high-profile conviction for white-collar crimes, the case has become a flashpoint in the culture war over justice, fairness, and political weaponization of federal law enforcement targeting conservative Trump supporters. Before his legal troubles began, Antonio Fluker had built a reputation as a self-made businessman who served the community with credit repair, transportation, donations, and as a firebrand political advocate. Fluker frequently defended Donald Trump's policies and criticized the deep state. He wore his MAGA hat proudly and supported Stop the Steal rallies. But in 2021, the Biden DOJ began investigating his businesses for alleged fraudulent activities. Several months later, he was indicted on multiple counts of wire fraud, bank fraud, and money laundering. According to federal prosecutors, Fluker was involved in an elaborate scheme to defraud the United States of COVID-19 pandemic relief funds and other affiliate financial institutions by making materially false representations. The evidence was overwhelming, said Assistant U.S. Attorney Ann Ney, who led the prosecution and who was hired by the Biden DOJ. Fluker pleaded not guilty and maintained that the investigation was politically driven from the start. This is Biden's DOJ weaponizing the legal system, Fluker said. They don't like that I supported President Donald Trump, and they'll do anything to silence people like me. Fluker's supporters claim his prosecution was being weaponized by the Biden Justice Department because he is a black MAGA Trump supporter. In March 2024, Fluker was sentenced to 135 months in federal prison. Reactions was sharply divided. To his supporters, the sentence was proof of systemic bias. One supporter stated, "This is what a banana republic looks like. Antonio Fluker is in jail for his politics." Fluker's case is one of several high-profile prosecutions involving Trump allies or donors that have raised eyebrows among conservatives, from Steve Bannon's fraud charges to tax cases against GOP-aligned businesses. A narrative has taken hold on the right that the Biden DOJ was engaged in political retribution. Still, the optics are hard to ignore. The line between crime and politics has blurred, not necessarily because of the facts of the case, but because of the country's deeply polarized climate. Since beginning his sentence, his living conditions in prison are horrific and the BOP is failing to provide appropriate medical care to all inmates. They are targeting Trump supporters in this prison, Federal Correctional Institution Schuylkill, Interstate 81 and 901W, Minersville, Pennsylvania, 17954. Email schexecassistant-s@bop.gov, phone 570-544-7100, and are writing false misconduct reports, taking good conduct time credits, and mistreating individuals because they are supporters of the president. The food is often spoiled, molded, expired, and labeled not for human consumption. The living conditions are poor. Inmates sleep with less than a regular mattress, which is the same as sleeping on the metal bed frame. Inmates are not provided adequate toilet tissue, experience excessive lockdowns and shakedowns. The medical care is horrible. Inmates have been diagnosed with cancer, have open wounds, and chronic heart problems. They haven't been treated in months. Fluker says, "It's a guy who is in need of heart surgery, the BOP won't perform the surgery and his condition has become worse over the months because of the BOP's delay in treatment." The BOP Biden-appointed officials frequently block inmates' access to the grievance/administrative remedy process, block access to lawyers and legal materials in an attempt to frustrate inmates' right of access to the courts. Antonio Fluker's conviction is more than a courtroom drama, it's a Rorschach test of America. To some, he is a corrupt businessman who finally got caught. To others, he is a political martyr, taken down by a partisan Biden Justice Department. As the country barrels toward the 2026 midterm elections, the case is likely to be cited by candidates and pundits alike. Whether justice was served or weaponized depends largely on which side of the aisle you're sitting on. We think this is a clear case of weaponization of the Biden DOJ to take down a black MAGA supporter because of his politics.